My name is Lisa, and I am an internal support coordinator with WEX FFSM. I can talk today. I wanted to welcome you all today to the first session of Solution Studio in the rotation. This is our second rotation of the 20 sessions that will cover different features of the software. The first 4 days of the week will cover different features, and Fridays will be reserved for Q&As. So today we are going to be working on managing your accounts receivable. So let's get started. Okay. So from your schedule page, to find the accounts receivable and the accounts receivable aging reports, you would come to reporting, and you would see these top two here. Accounts receivable aging works just like it does in QuickBooks. It will show you 30, 60, 90-day buckets of who owes you what, and the accounts receivable is basically everybody who owes you money for all time. So let's go look at the receivables report. So the receivables report has a date range, and it has sorting options by job type, payment status, invoice status, technicians, and you can display all invoices, recurring invoices, progress invoices. So you have a lot of options up here. And also in our system, whenever you see anything red, you can click on it. And when you have a box that does not have a drop down like this, it is a multi-select box. So if you wanted to search by certain job types, you're only looking for install jobs that you want to see haven't been paid yet, you can do that as well. The other thing in the system that you can do is anytime you have red, you can click on it. If you wanted to see all last notifications, click on the header and it will toggle this up and down so that you can see when the last time was you sent notifications out. This one was sent out on the 13th, and if you click on it, it will show you the destination and how many times it's been sent. So for receivables, I used to do like the 3-strike rule. I would try to send it to them in bulk 2 times, and if they hadn't paid it, then I would reach out to them on the 3rd time. So we can go into anybody who has an outstanding balance. Right now, this tells me that the invoice total is $25,149.94. The payments and credits against these invoices is $249.94, and we have a remaining balance of $24,900. So if I wanted to come in, I could just hit Select All, and it would choose all of these, and I can bulk send them. So I can send invoices, and once I hit Send, it will give me a list, and I can hit Send. If I don't want to send one or two, if I know why they've been paid, I can uncheck those, and I can hit Send. And this will update the last notification date. If there's a lot of traffic in the system, this will have a little box that will pick up that will say that this will be posted as soon as it's complete. But it looks like we have plenty of room in the system for these to go right now. And it shows the last notification of today being there. So if you wanted to send a statement from the accounts receivables report, when I click this, you have the option, see send statement or invoices. And if you hover over it, it says statements can only be sent for invoices with the same customer. So if I wanted to come into here, let me unclick this and get out of there and go to Jack Dawson. And if I could type, that would be good. Let me move things around here so I can get a flat keyboard. So now I have all the invoices from this date range that are unpaid for Jack Dawson. Some of these might have had a payment assigned to it. Some of them have been completed. But if I wanted to send a statement, I could click all and hit Send Statement. And I could mail it to him, email it to him, text it to him, and then send the statement. And I'll show you where those live in our system so that you can see what you sent them. So if I go to Jack Dawson and I click the box with the arrow, it'll open it up in a new tab. I can go to the Payments tab, and I can see the customer statement history that I sent out. So if I need to look at it, send it again, it'll show me a sent history here as well. If I need to see the PDF again, so if they're questioning what's on the statement, you can take a look at it. And so that's basically how the receivables report works. And if you need to go back in time, you can go back in time and it will change the statuses. So make sure that you're reaching out in the correct date range for what people owe you. Okay. The accounts receivable aging report is right here, and that's what we said shows 30, 60, 90. As you can tell, between these two different reports, they were created differently. This was made in Tableau. So if you need to download this report, you would come here and go to the box and choose Cross Tab, and it will download it to Excel for you. And when you're doing your imaging, your downloads, you would see all of these different items. Looking at this, let's make it go back up. All of these different customers. It has their invoice number, and you can see some of them that have credits in here so that you can go take a look at those and see if they have any unapplied payments. And let me see if I can pull up QuickBooks. So your AR aging, current 1 to 30, 30 to 61, 61 to 90, and over 90 should match, if you've gone back in and made sure these are clean, these same totals. Okay. So if they don't, you can download both of them. I like paper sometimes, and I like to look at the two of them, or in one screen and one in the other screen on your computer, to see where the differences are so that you can go in and check these to get them cleaned up. So let's say that something is different. So you may have, let's see what's in here. Mr. Claude Miller has a credit of $500. So if I search Claude Miller up here, I could come and see on his customer payments tab, he has this gold bar. And if you click on it, it shows a payment that's not fully applied. Once you click on the pencil beside it, you can see that part of it was used to pay this invoice 196, but he still has a payment without an invoice left over. So this is a recorded payment. In our system, you can edit recorded payments because that's what you're taking to the bank. It's not processed in our system. Processed payments, you can only refund. So you can't edit a processed payment, only a recorded payment. And this is how you'll know at the top. It'll say edit recorded payment. You can also delete the payment or refund the payment or refund the overpayment of the $500. It just depends on whether you're holding this money for your customer for another job. Maybe that's a down payment on a new install. Only you would know that, but you can check between the two systems on your accounts receivable aging in WEX FSM and the one in QuickBooks, and make sure that they are aligned and that they're the same. And if there's not, you can come in and check to see what's going on. If this one, let me go back in here, is not true and they don't own you, you can hit reassign payment and go make this 0, and it will change the amount to the 183.65. So it's just up to you. Maybe somebody typed it incorrectly and they'd hit the 6 instead of the 1. You would just need to do a little digging and a little research to find out what is true in your system. And you can also check the bank to see what you took to the bank. Okay, so one of the other things that you can check is the payments list. So if you go to the jobs tab and go to payment list, maybe some of the payments haven't synced over yet. So that could be part of the difference. So you would come in here, make your date range go back as far as you need to, and try to clean these up. So once you have them clean, you should be able to kind of keep an eye on the most recent ones and make sure that they're getting over there. When you have an error, if you hover over it, it will tell you what's going on. The payment successfully synced to QuickBooks customer, but was not applied to the associated invoice. Please ensure all associated invoices are successfully synced. So the payment could not be making it over to marry to the invoice. It will get to the customer because it says it's synced to the customer. It just can't marry with the invoice. So you would have to see if there was something on the invoice list. So that would be under Jobs Invoice List, and see if maybe there is a reason here why the invoice has not made it to QuickBooks yet, and then take care of those errors. We are going to be going over sync errors tomorrow and how to resolve them and kind of find some information, but there is some sync support in here that will tell you what the sync errors mean and what's mapped to where. So that can help as well. And also you have the option of details. If it says not ready, it usually means that there's something going on in here. And this is my test system. So between QuickBooks and how many times my QuickBooks test account has been shut down, I have income accounts in here that no longer exist in my WEX FSM account. So I would have to go back in and choose my 2026 job income and reset these all, save them, and this would go back to ready, and it would sync over in the next sync. If you have an error, you can check to see this is error code 207. It says contact customer support, but you can also look in here and see once you know what a 207 is, you may be able to resolve this on your own. 3 things sync from WEX FSM down to QuickBooks: customers, invoices, and payments. The customer has to be able to sync over so the invoice has a home, and the invoice needs to sync so that the payment can link to the invoice. The payment will get to the customer if the customer syncs and the invoice doesn't. So there's several variables in here that you will need to take a look at to make sure that your AR aging report is the same in QuickBooks and WEX FSM. Once you get this even, at a certain point, you have to say, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to make sure it's even. That may take a little bit of work to get everything tracked down and your detective work done. But once you get that first one done, if you have a process of coming in here daily and checking the sync errors or the customers, the payments, the invoices, and doing a quick double check, run your AR in QuickBooks, run your AR in WEX FSM, they should pretty well match. And it should be just a matter of checking 1 or 2 things as you go forward to make sure that it's clean between the 2 systems. Now, we also have the job summary report, and it is under reporting, job summary, and we're going to look at the job summary by appointment too. So this will help you find out if you've invoiced every customer. Now, as a company, I used to require my techs to invoice everybody, even if we couldn't charge them, so that way the customer would see the notes, they would agree that the work had been done and sign off on it. So invoices that don't have a line item will not sync because they're a 0 value and the system does not see it as an option to sync, and it will sit there and not ready because there are no line items to sync. But for your account history here, you would have it and you could see that. So one of the ways is to come to the job summary report, and anything red, you can click on it. You can come in here and you can see, okay, how many signed proposals do I have? Do I have any in here? Okay, this has no signed proposals, so we're good. We don't have a proposal with no invoice. That would mean somebody's got an estimate and hasn't been invoiced yet. So you may want to go in and close these. If there's a proposal that's not signed and the job is still open and you're not going to do that, you may want to go in and close that job so that you know that moving forward, anything on here is closed. If you didn't get the job, if there is a number here, it will not show unless it's signed. So if you have a signed proposal and no invoices, you're either still doing the work, maybe it's an install you haven't done yet, but it's worth a quick double check to make sure that you have billed for that. And you can come into the invoices also as well and find any jobs that do not have an invoice and ones that do. Okay. The job summary by appointment, which would be the report, job summary by appointment, gives you a little bit more information in a different format. And once again, this, you can tell this was built in Tableau, and it's going to want me to refresh this because it's been a few minutes since I've had it open. And so as it refreshes, This has a little bit more information. The job summary report goes by the date the job was created. So if you created a job last month, it's not going to show on this report unless you widen your date range. Okay. So you may create a job and not be able to go out to it for several months. So make sure that you're checking on this report for the correct date range search. Job summary by appointment, let's see if this is done loading. It's not done loading yet. Goes by the date that the appointment is created, not when the job is created. That's why they created this extra report. But you can come in and you can sort by appointment, by job. But the appointment date here is so far this month. You can nail it down by all the different filters. I won't go through all those. You can take a look. You can download it again and go to Crosstab like every other report that's created in Tableau. But the nice thing you can do is it has this little slider over here because there's quite a bit of information on this page. You can see the signed proposal count, the invoice count. So you can see also here as well if they've invoiced and it goes by the appointment date. So it's a little easier to find for what you're actually working and when you're actually out there doing the work. It will give you the lead source. It will tell you the appointment time, the date, and the appointment text. So you have a little bit of information if they didn't create the invoice, who to go out and check. Why didn't we create an invoice for this? Why did we not get paid? If we don't bill, we're not going to get paid. And it's not going to show up on the AR aging because it doesn't exist. Okay. So that's basically the accounts receivable and the accounts receivable aging and how to clean them up, how to take a look at what has been billed, what hasn't been billed, and what hasn't been paid. So does anyone have any questions about this or any questions about what they see in their system? There's just a couple of us, so you can just unmute yourself if you like. I know I went over it pretty quickly. There's a lot of moving pieces, but this is going to help you know, one, that you billed, two, that it's been paid, and if not, how to go and find those so that you do get paid. I've done this webinar once before, and I don't have a script, so I go over it as I go through the different items, but you have the chance to review those as well. So if I go to search for help and search for Solution Studio, you're going to see Solution Studio Advanced Working Sessions. This is where you sign up, and at the bottom, that's where you're going to see the recorded replays. So if you need to go take a look at that, you can, and you can look at this recording again and the previous recording and see if there's anything in there that might help you with what you're trying to do. We also will have this again in rotation and again in 20 more days that we'll go over this, and we're working our way through some of the other reports closer to the end of the rotation. Tomorrow, I believe, is resolving sync errors and how QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop work and how to merge customers. So that's what we'll be going over tomorrow. If anyone doesn't have any questions, I'm going to let you guys get back to your day, and you have a great rest of your day and a great week in case I don't talk to you again. Bye.